Welcome to Cardano Epoch News for Epoch 396, brought to you by Sci-Fi Pool. We bring you the top stories from Cardano and beyond from the last 5 days. Coming up in this news roundup, Charles talks about Marlowe, Laos, and whether he's buying CNN in his latest AMA video. I try to get my head around the perfect NFT, an on-chain performative art project. Goat Tribe makes use of Franken addresses to offer non-custodial staking, and Dropspot.io, a new curated fine art NFT marketplace, offers free minting and more to Cardano artists. Charles addresses criticisms about his political leanings in a live stream responding to an open letter sent to him on Reddit. And in other crypto news, Solana was switched off again for a bit this epoch, and the community seems to have had enough. And to end the video, we look at some Cardano on-chain data for Epoch 396. For all the details on this epoch's top Cardano stories, watch this video all the way to the end. And if you enjoy our videos, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an epoch, and stake your ADA with Sci-Fi Pool. Charles Hoskinson gave an almost 2-hour-long AMA video on YouTube this epoch, and if you didn't have time to watch it all, here are some of the main points. Addressing rumours and badly written ChatGPT articles, Charles assured us that he is not buying CNN, since he knows nothing about traditional broadcast media. It was just a joke with his friend Ross Calvin on Twitter, he says. But he was in discussions about buying CoinDesk. He can't go into details because of an NDA, but he seems to think it's unlikely that he'll acquire it in the end, and hinted at disagreements over what the fair value of the crypto news site actually is. An avid reader, Charles also dropped a book recommendation in this AMA, The Business Case for AI by Kavita Ganesan, which gives an intro into business topics, fact and fiction of AI, and how you can use AI in your business. In response to a question about Laos, Charles said it's not happening in 2023. The paper has been written, but not the CIPs, he said. He also said that this is such a fundamental change to Cardano that it will not be happening before CIP 1694 or Voltaire. Laos will change the reward mechanism, security assumptions, and mean a lot more stake pool operators, which will operate slightly differently, Charles says. And for such huge changes, the community really needs to vote and decide, he said. Charles also talked in depth about Marlowe, a web-based platform to build and run financial smart contracts without needing deep programming knowledge. Charles said it will be going live on the mainnet in March and is an easier and more efficient way to write smart contracts for Cardano without having to use Haskell. Some have compared it to an Unreal Engine for Cardano smart contracts and hope that it will bring more devs into the ecosystem. Further into the AMA, Charles threw some shade at the World Economic Forum, which he called one big bastion of hypocrisy, where wealthy people pay too much to chat about ESG and the rest of us eating grasshoppers, while they constantly fly around in helicopters for no particular reason. At the end of the video, Charles went into detail about his healthcare and longevity clinic in Wyoming, which will offer patients with depression treatment with a transcranial stimulation device, which Charles said cures 1/3 of cases of depression, a kind of magnetic reset of your brain, he said. The clinic's focus will be on curative medicine rather than being dependent on a pill for the rest of your life. He's also planning to build the largest whiskey bar in Wyoming, simply because that's the right thing to do. I mean, I get it. Speaking of Wyoming, a viewer asked where Charles would go if the Yellowstone supervolcano erupts. To this, he said it would destroy all life on Earth, so he wouldn't go anywhere. He would simply strip naked, hold his arms out, and let the pyroclastic flow absorb him, he said. Finally, Charles mentioned the CIP 1694 workshop, which is being held at his Longmont offices this week, where people, including some that both disagree with and dislike Charles, will meet to discuss the best way of going about the Voltaire governance process. Next up is a few new NFT developments from Cardano this epoch. First, the Perfect NFT, a fascinating and confusing NFT project which is somewhere between a Ponzi scheme, an auction, and an exquisite co-created piece of performance art. The Perfect NFT is brought to the unsuspecting gamblers and degenerates of the Cardano NFT world by Monad of Unsigned Algorithms fame and Mick and Woot, or Wout, who describe themselves as two artists working apart together, always searching, knowing they will never find. Go have a look at their website, I've linked it in the description, and it's well worth a visit. So, the perfect NFT is a blockchain art performance where you're invited to leave your mark. If I'm honest, I don't fully understand it, but that's often the way with art. I'll do my best to explain the parts I do understand. It all started with a first round where there are a gallery of 512 pieces. Buyers could select any one that hadn't already been bought. In this round, buyers paid 8 ADA to sort of own the NFT they had selected, and by sort of, I mean the NFT would not be sent to them until the next round. But the catch is that someone else can buy the same NFT in the next round for a higher price. If that happens, the round 1 buyer receives the funds for the purchase, and so on with the other rounds. Also, buyers receive a temporal bidding declaration for the transaction, a kind of receipt. The next round restarts as soon as 512 bids are received. And the pricing model is that the price increases each round depending on the percentage of NFTs bid on in the last round within 5 days. But so far, each round has sold out in hours, so the price doubles, and none of the NFTs have actually been minted yet. The NFT finally mints and gets sent to the final bidder when 5 days are up and no new bids have been received. The people that love this project seem very dedicated, sitting for hours on end trying to mint or bid or whatever you want to call it. It seems to be playing with the idea of ownership, and especially ownership of NFTs. What does it mean to own these elusive fingerprint grids? They're in some no man's land of owned and not owned, and the Ponzi element adds a bit of gambling as well as the inevitable FOMO. It also seems to be a tactical game with patterns and numbers and maths. As the mint progresses, the bidder's participation generates each piece. The bids are somehow recorded within the NFT. And different bidders seem to have different rationales for participating. Some want to make a certain pattern or collect certain NFTs or complete a grid. Others want to make money or just be part of something that a group of people are focused on and excited about. This whole thing has me wondering if Monad and Co are geniuses tricking the unsuspecting participants into providing data for some kind of psychology experiment. Or maybe just training AI to understand the finer points of degenerate behaviour patterns. But maybe it's just art. Our next NFT story is about the OG Cardano project, Goat Tribe, who added NFT staking with a difference this epoch by using Franken addresses. This allows users to keep their assets in their wallet while taking advantage of the benefits of staking on the Goat Tribe platform by splitting the payment key of the address and the stake key. This means that users keep control over their assets and don't have to run the risk of sending their NFTs to a custodial solution based on an external wallet or contract. And the last NFT news story this epoch is about Dropspot.io, a new curated NFT marketplace for those of you who really are in it for the art. Scrolling through the website, the user interface seems clean and intuitive. It has a decent help center with more information. And the goal of the Dropspot team seems to be to give artists more control. They can create collections, manage payment splits and future royalties, and even mint NFTs for free. They even offer NFTs as a service to help brands launch NFTs with no fuss. This seems like a really interesting new addition to the Cardano ecosystem, and I look forward to seeing where the team takes it and how the community and artists of Cardano will use it. Back to Charles Hoskinson for the next story. He managed to fit in another short live stream this epoch, addressing an open letter to him by a Reddit user. The letter started by telling Charles that it would have been better for him to remain anonymous, like Satoshi, to avoid polluting the blockchain with his own personality, ideas and politics. The letter writer was not happy that Charles apparently likes, or at least doesn't distance himself from controversial figures like Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk, who the author called alt-right hate group personalities. The letter writer went on to say that such affiliations are embarrassing to people who just like the Cardano tech. Charles responded by agreeing to some extent that being an anonymous founder is something that he would have wanted for Cardano, but also explained that the situation is different, and sometimes you have to have the courage to step out. By having an anonymous creator, you also create a deity, Charles says, and this holds people and ideas in the past, not in the present reality, focused on the current demands on the blockchain. Charles also addressed the criticisms of his so-called alt-right tendencies, explaining that he's concerned about the censorship that occurred around COVID and that he's worried about language being co-opted in general. As for the underlying message of the letter, that Charles should keep his mouth shut and just make the blockchain, He said he's a public figure who has every right to express concern and a duty to represent what he feels is a free society, where people have freedom of association and the freedom to express themselves. He's tired of living in a society without nuance, he says, and urges us to find merit in the thoughts of others, even when we disagree with them. Our next story takes us outside of the Cardano universe. On February 25th, the Solana network faced performance issues once again and had to shut down for a restart. The exact cause is not known yet, but in the week leading up to it, all validators were encouraged to make a major upgrade to their nodes. Just as the upgraded nodes reached a majority, a larger than usual block was minted and apparently clogged the blockchain. Whatever happened, Solana needed a restart, and this is not the first time. A major outage was caused by a denial of service attack by bots in 2021 and again in May 2022, when bots caused a 7-hour outage. Just a month later, a consensus issue shut the blockchain down once again. After the latest shutdown, the Solana community was not amused. Twitter user Ghetto Gecko even said that Solana is not the ETH killer, but the transaction killer. Responding to criticisms on Twitter, Solana developer Andrew Watson said they had chosen security over liveness, which raises the obvious question of why not both? And finally, some data from the Cardano blockchain, if you're still with me. And I guess dates are a kind of data. So March the 1st marked the second anniversary since the Mary hard fork update that brought native assets to Cardano. Jenny Brito on Twitter reminded us of this momentous occasion and gave a shout out to Steak Nuts for the Nut coin, the first native asset minted on Cardano, and to Berry for the Berry NFT, our first NFT collection. And some statistics from the NFT jungle for the week leading up to Epoch's end on March 1st. ADA market volume was at 5.1 million ADA for the week, or $1.7 million US, and a total of 16,700 NFTs were sold. Top sales were unsurprisingly World Mobile Earth nodes, as they're a bit pricier than your average profile picture cartoon, but someone seems to have really wanted a Pavia green square, since they paid 37.5 thousand ADA for it. A quick look at marketplace volume shows that JPEG Store is still very much king of the Cardano marketplaces, with a massive 97.6% of market share. The others really don't seem to get a look in. And there are not many surprises in the top collections. The Ape Society takes the top spot, followed by Space Buds and Clay Nation. Strangely, Lobster Dano is in 4th place. A quick look seems to indicate that it's an ironic take on something or other. They have 50 followers on Twitter, a 300,000 ADA floor, and 700 ADA in total volume. And the last one was sold a month ago, so it has me questioning everything. Retreating to the relative safety of EUTXO.org, we see that there were 270,000 ADA transactions in the past week, and 145,000 NFTs were transferred. All the fees for ADA transfers in the past week add up to $23,800, for a total of $8 million transferred. The most that was transferred in one block was 90 million ADA. The average TPS, or transactions per second, was 3.27, with an average of 13 transactions per block. And that's it for this Epoch Roundup. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. And whatever you do, don't leave your ADA on exchanges. Support the security of the Cardano network and single stake pool operators like Sci-Fi Pool. There's a link in the description. See you next Epoch!